You are listening to CEOs of Screams, the podcast where we uncover the stories behind the screams of your favorite horror creators and creatives. My name is Sumi and I will hold your hand through this.
CEOs of Screams.
Alright, hi Michael, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Sumi. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I have a little cup of tea. It's getting colder here, so I'm very excited to cozy up and just talk to you.
You're based in Germany, right?
I am. Can you tell by my accent by any chance? So, Michael, do you want to introduce yourself? Who are you? Just act like nobody knows who you are.
Yeah, sure. My name is Michael Cosio. I am, Tainted Pact Games, solo indie developer. I've developed quite a few games now. Suffer the Night, Terror Oakheart, Massacre at the Mirage, and my newest game, Flesh Made Fear, just came out on Halloween.
Halloween was a great day to bring that out. Was that like something you planned, or did that just happen that way?
Well, me and the publisher discussed releasing the game around October, and it just seemed appropriate. Like, we were reviewing when other games were being released and what days and stuff like that, and we didn't want to like step on anybody's toes or anything like that. And it seemed like Halloween was wide open, so we're just like, why not? It's like the perfect day, so let's do it.
Yeah, it's a great day to publish a horror game. So you've been making horror games for a long time. I was talking to you about how I played one of your earliest games. What is it called? Massacre.
Oh, Weeping Falls Massacre?
Yes, the one with the school.
Yeah, the teddy bear monster.
Yes, I love the teddy bear monster. And there was a wardrobe that you could go through. And one of my early horror clips was me talking about, we are going to Narnia, and then we come into this bleak, very gray, sparse, dirty room. It's like, Narnia changed a little bit since we were last year. I love that game. Obviously, you've come a long way since then. And that one was free even, I think. I think you put that out for people to just play.
Yeah, it was one of my first games, and it was really I guess you could say like an experimental game for me, where I was really kind of just learning how to make video games, and specifically horror games, and I think it's important for like new developers, especially, maybe to think about releasing their first couple games for free, just so people can get like a taste of what kind of games they're trying to make and the stories they're trying to tell, and not necessarily have to invest money into it right away,
Yeah.
just so that people can get an idea of what kind of quality game you're making and stuff like that.
Well, it worked for me. I love that game, and I was like, it was one of my first VODs that I turned into a YouTube video, and I was very proud of it, and I had so much fun. But comparing all the games that I've not played all of your games, but comparing all the ones that I have played, they're all very different from each other. Like, not only in style, but also in subgenre. Like, Flesh Made Fear now is a very classic survival horror. And then in Massacre at the Mirage, you had even a little bit of the drop sim in there.
Yeah.
Do you just make whatever you feel like right now, or will your next game be close to something you already did?
Like, generally, I kind of just like go with the flow when it comes to like my game ideas, I mentioned this before, but like I really like to try new things, new styles, like especially artistic styles. Like, I made like a really pixel art horror game, and then like I did like a 80s slasher game with Massacre. And then I'm exploring this like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 kind of art style. So it's really fun to just branch out and try different things, especially with like programming too, because I love to continuously grow as a programmer. and learn as many different things as I can.
Hmm.
So that's a big motivation behind me choosing different styles and different types of games to make. It's just I just want to learn more and more and more and more. You know.
Yeah. I think that's a great way of living in general, just striving to always learn and not
Exactly.
stagnate in a way.
Yeah.
Um, did you have a favorite, like when it's all so different to make? Was something especially fun?
Uh, as far as like the game dev process, or like as far as like a favorite game that I've made.
Why not both?
Well, I mean, it's hard for me to pick a favorite because there's definitely like bits and pieces of every game that I really like feel extremely personal about. You know, like Terror with Oakheart, or Terra Oakheart was like all pixel art, which was something that I always really wanted to do because I love pixel art. And the
Mhm.
same thing with Flesh Made Fear that just came out is like I grew up playing all the classic survival horror games, and up to this point, it's something that I always wanted to do, but I never felt like I had the programming chops to do it. You
Mhm.
know, like I never felt like I was good enough to actually make something like Flesh Made Fear until I got to this point. You know, so like every game has been like a stepping stone of learning and getting better to reach this point where I finally felt like I could tackle something as
Mhm.
complex as like a survival horror classic. You know.
Yeah,
But
I
like
love
with
that.
Massacre at the Mirage, I always had like a huge. I grew up with like slasher films and
Mhm.
stuff like that too. So, you know, there's bits and pieces of every game that like it's kind of like a piece of me that I'm attaching to each one of my projects. You know, so
Yeah.
it's hard for me to pick a favorite. But as far as like game development goes, I always really enjoy making the music for the games. That's always
Mhm.
I grew up as a musician, so it's like a big part of it's very therapeutic for me to sit back and make music. You know, I
Yeah.
can spend hours and hours and hours doing that. But of course, like there's so many different aspects of game development that are fun to do, whether it be
Mhm.
like level design, um, you know, 3D modeling, texturing, programming, you name it. You know, it's all that stuff is very rewarding in its own sense.
Yeah. So I actually saw that you made the music for Flash Made Fear yourself. Do you have like um a process to like do you come up with a scene and then think about the music that would be fitting? Or do you have like a song did you have like a song at one point and were like that needs to go into a game?
Honestly, it's both. Like sometimes I'll have like a piece of music ready, and
Mm.
then I'll take that into the game, and then I'll build a scene around that specific piece of music. And then other times, like you know, I'll build the scene first, and then be like, okay, I'll take like a little video of me playing that part of the game, and I'll bring it over into like a second monitor, and then I'll just have it continuously playing on a loop, and then I'll have like FL Studios open in another monitor, and I'll sit there and I'll just vibe it out, you know,
Yeah, like feeling the
sit there and
feeling.
yeah, like you know, sit there and think in my head like what kind of emotion or atmosphere am I feeling while I'm playing this specific part of the game, and
Mhm.
then I usually start with like layers of synth, like low like bass tones and stuff like that,
Mhm.
just to get like a nice foundation going, and then I'll start adding melodies and more complex textures on top of that until it's like at a point where I'm happy, you know.
Yeah, I like that. So, what kind of music do you make beside the synths? Like, which instruments do you play?
Well, before I got my bachelor's in computer science, like I was in a bunch of like metal bands, you know, like
Hmm.
death metal, like thrash metal when
Hmm.
I was in my early 20s and my teenage years. So I was always playing like bass guitar in those bands, but I also play a lot of classical guitar on my nylon.
Hmm. Yeah,
Those
cool.
are like the two main instruments that I play. But I have a keyboard and a piano that I use to help me transpose music and help me like kind of figure out different melodies and stuff like that because it's way easier to work with a keyboard when you're on a computer than it is to have like a guitar like sitting in your lap, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you, if you make the music for your games, do you put that out somewhere where people can just listen to the music, like on Spotify or something like that? Or is it purely in your game?
Right now, you can only get the soundtracks on Steam, but in the
Mhm.
near future, I plan on getting everything together and doing a Spotify.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you have like a moment where you decided to want to do, like after you build up the skills to make a classic survival horror game? Was there, or was that always there? Like you were making other games and were already thinking about in the future you want to make this kind of game?
Yeah, it was always there from the start. Like the very very first prototype that I made was this game called Biocide, and it was like a survival horror game, but it was a complete mess because I had no idea what I was doing, you know. And then that's when I realized I was like, oh, I'm not smart enough yet to do this,
Mhm.
you know. So I took a step back and I realized, okay, I'm gonna have to like work up to this game that I want to make. I know I want to make it at some point in the future, but I'm not there yet. So it was always in the back of my mind. And like I said, like as I started releasing more and more games and got them under my belt and got the experience of actually releasing a game and the
Mhm.
process of releasing a game, then I felt much more comfortable about approaching it and actually making it.
I love that though. Like having, like, I think it takes a lot to recognize I'm not there yet, but also not giving up and being like, but I can get there. Like just
Yeah,
because you cannot do it right now doesn't mean that you cannot work towards it. It's like skills that you can acquire over time.
definitely. And honestly, I think that's like a pitfall that some new developers might fall into sometimes. Like they have this grand idea of their dream game that they want to make,
Hmm.
but they've never made any game before wanting to make this one that they have in their mind. So then they approach this like monumental task of making like their ideal perfect game that they see in their head, and it just they get absolutely lost in it and they end up spending years and years on this game, and um, sometimes they don't even get to release it, or like they release it and then there's like nobody ends up playing it and then they feel absolutely crushed and then they quit game dev altogether. I think it's important to start small,
Yeah.
uh, keep things in scope and work your way up to something big,
Hmm.
because it's important that you pace yourself and you make sure that that you have the skills required, and you keep things in scope, especially as a solo developer, because it's just you.
Yeah.
You don't have a team of people to sit there and make different parts of the game for you. So like if you're biting off some massive like MMO that you want to make, or some crazy like multiplayer game or something like that, it's gonna overwhelm you for sure.
Yeah. I believe that too. Um. So it Flashmade Fear is like everything is retro inspired, like from the graphics being like PS1 style. You even have tank controls. Was there, how did you combine all these kind of old fashioned things that are kind of out of style? And not gonna lie, many people who game probably can get used to anymore and still made it modern and fresh.
um I don't know, like it never really occurred to me about like trying to like I guess I'm like a little unapologetic about what I wanted the game to be.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that
Like
though.
I wasn't like pulling my punches with it. I was like, this is what I want to make. I'm gonna make this, and like if you don't like it, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, then it's just
But
maybe not for you.
yeah, exactly. But that's just what I wanted to make. So but the cool thing is like I was able to incorporate a lot of modern touches into the game when it came to like lighting and fog effects,
Hmm.
and updated effect like post processing effects and stuff like that, which kind of like I combined with the PSX style to give it kind of this like unique color and palette. So it
Hmm.
has like this, it does have this PSX vibe, but it also is not exactly 100% true to like a PS1 style game as far
Yeah.
as like texture warping and vertex snapping and stuff like that. So it's a fun little art style that I kind of like made for the game that isn't exactly one thing or another. It's just kind of like a mishmash of different things from like modern engine features and like an art style from like the 90s, you know?
Yeah. I like that though. Like I like the approach of like at the end of the day, I don't know if you consider yourself an artist, but at the end of the day, you are an artist making something that is your baby, and you have
Yeah.
an idea of how you want to make it, and you are not. That's why you are an indie developer, right? You can approach things in a way that they are the way you want them to be, and you don't have to like you have a publisher, yes, but you don't
Yes.
have to please a gigantic crowd and make a lot of compromises, I assume.
Yeah, I mean that's the great thing about being an indie developer is that you get to make whatever you want to make, you know, at
Yeah.
the end of the day. If you're working like a 9 to 5 in the industry at like a like a game company,
Yeah.
you're not really making your idea. You're making somebody else's idea, right?
Hmm.
And not only
And
that, you're beholden to like whatever the higher ups want, you know.
yeah.
So
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm guilty. Like I suck with tank controls, but I always look at there's like this wave of retro inspired survival horror games. There was what was the one with the camera with the girl with the black hair? Hardworm. I
Oh,
think
Heartworm?
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
Hardworm. And then last year, Sorry We Are Closed.
Hmm.
Um, and the first time I played something this retro inspired survival horror esque game was Night of the Scissors, and I
Oh
love
yeah.
that game.
From
And
Sulini, I think his name
yeah,
is, right? Yeah, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, and then this had a setting that you can turn off the tank controls, and I did that.
Mhm.
But I think he then made more survival horror games and didn't want to compromise anymore. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel like they made that compromise before because they were a little scared that people would not like it if it's forced tank controls. But
Yeah.
then they gained some confidence and were like, nah, I'm this game will have tank controls. And then in future games they didn't put the option to turn it off anymore. And of course I whined about it. It's like, but in your last game I could turn it off. And it's like, yeah, well, if you can't handle it, then maybe this game is not for you. And
Well,
he's
you know,
probably right.
it's interesting though because like tank like I think most people like 9 out of 10 people probably suck with tank controls. Like
Yeah.
I'm not very good with tank controls, you know,
Mhm.
and I made the game. But the I think the point about the tank controls is not only to like recapture a time where game development was still kind of like figuring out um, how to do things in like a 3D perspective, you know,
Mhm.
but I think also tank controls kind of add to the suspense and the horror of the game because it kind of like it's like stripping the player's freedoms back, you know. So it makes it more difficult to move around, which makes uh, certain situations much more tense because like
Mhm.
not only are you dealing with the suspense and the dread of whatever scene is happening as far as like a monster attacking you or a jump scare or a boss fight or something like that, but you're also dealing with the fact that you're actively battling the keyboard and mouse trying to move the character properly, you know. So I think it adds tension and it adds fear to certain aspects of classic games done in this kind of style, But I do also understand that it's not for everybody, which is completely fine. Like I understand with every game that I release that there's no way that you're ever going to please everybody, you
Yes,
know?
with
So the
anything you
best thing,
create. Yeah.
and that's just life in general.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like I just decided like, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna do it. And if I know there's gonna be people who aren't gonna like it. That's okay. I I I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot more people who do like it, and that's all
Yeah.
that matters.
And you will find your people. Like there are people craving like retro games that are just true to the old style, and they want to struggle with the tank controls. And it's just like
Yeah.
those are the people you want to reach, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And
Totally.
if people like me just fall into this trap of buying every single retro-inspired survival game, knowingly that they will never finish them because they will get frustrated and stop, then that's their problem.
Right.
Um,
At the end of the day, as long as you get some enjoyment out of the game, that's all it really matters. Right?
Clearly. Like I alone have fun looking at it. When I was putting together the little interview that we did for the CEO's Instagram or socials, and then it was just like 5 questions and some screenshots. But looking at those screenshots was like, that looks so cool. And then I saw on your Instagram you have like a lot of details. There's like a fart gun. I was talking to Zuzel Beduzel, the CEO of Scream's member, earlier. We were playing Arc Raiders, and she was like, I was asking her if she's in the game because I saw the Sharky plushie, Sharky, our guest from the first episode of this podcast. And I saw Sparrow, the cat of Wolf at Your Gate. I was like, Zuzel, is there something of you in there? And she's like, yeah, I am like, it looks like my emote. And then we were talking about you for a second, and it's like, we send each other fart emotes, and I think he built a fart gun into his game.
Yeah, we kind of have this little conversation on Instagram where we're just sending each other fart memes back and forth.
Yeah. How did this fart gun happen? What was that?
Honestly, like, okay, so I was in the middle of QA for the game, right? And it was Friday night, and everybody on the QA team who had been testing the game, they finished for the day, and they were off for the weekend. And I had finished all my bugs, and I was like, well, what do I do? And then like I was just kind of like doom scrolling on Instagram, and I just saw a bunch of like fart reels, and then the idea just popped into my head, and I was like, what if I just add like a random gun? Because like all the classic like RE games, they have like an infinite rocket launcher that you can get after like doing certain things in the game and beating it. And I was like, should I add something like that? And I was like, that's just like so typical though. And then I was like, what if I just did something that's a little more personal to me?
I loved it.
And like I'm a simple man. I love a good fart joke.
I love it.
Like, I want to make a fart gun, and I just did it. I did it within like a couple hours, and I added it to the game. It didn't even take that long.
It looks so cool though. I'm gonna have a look if I can include a link to I think you posted it on Instagram or on X. A link to the screenshot of the gun, so people can actually look at it. It looks great. It's like absurd.
Literally a couple pairs of cheeks.
Yeah, and it looks so dirty as well.
Yeah, it's filthy. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, but I had a good chuckle when I saw that. Quickly, for a second, back to the music. The music is there to create atmosphere, but how do you create atmosphere like audio? For me, like I'm a bitch for good audio in horror games. Yeah. So what kind of sound stuff, let me say that in my very professional way of saying that, do you do to create like audio atmosphere besides the music?
Like sound effects?
Yeah.
And stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's a mixture of different things. Like sometimes I'll use my phone. Like if I have a very specific thing I want to get, like I'll use my phone and like record something on that. but I also love to like go on like YouTube or Pond 5 and kind of just browse the sound effects. And I don't necessarily use the sound effects that they have. What I do is like I'll usually I'll like take a snippet of something or a couple snippets here and there of something like that, and
Mm.
then like splice it together and make something new out of it, and then like run it through a bunch of different effects or processes to like get the effect that I'm looking for. But I also have like a bunch of generic assets that I've bought over
Hmm.
time for simple things like the sound of the door opening or like the footsteps of different materials like grass, wood, and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But like as far as like all the scary stuff goes, a lot of that's just like weird noises that I record on my iPhone and then just like layer it in like FL Studios with different effects, or like I'll pitch shift it or slow it down, or it's actually kind of goofy sometimes just sitting around like with my phone and making weird noises.
I like that. I
like
would
I,
I would
I
love to hear those noises before they were
right.
processed.
Like there's this one sound effect in Massacre at the Mirage where you're making a hot dog and you have to add condiments to the hot dog, and
Hmm.
there's like this plap 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 sound of like the sauce being squirted onto the hot dog, and like it's the most disgusting sound ever. And I used my phone to capture it, and everybody who heard that afterwards that I know is always, especially my friend Felony Rose. I don't know if you know who she is, but
I've heard of
she
her,
was
but I.
like, she was like, how did you? She kept asking me over and over again, like, how did you get that sound? How did you get that sound? And I wouldn't tell her, and I
It's a
still would. I'm not.
secret.
It's a secret, yeah.
Love
But
it.
yeah,
Secret ingredient.
yeah, but honestly, it's a mixture of a bunch of things from like store-bought assets or like sound effects from like what different websites or things that I record personally.
Hmm.
It's just a mix and mash of different things.
I like the splicing together things. Like the intro of this podcast is like this random, free, spooky kind of sound, and then I put some wolf howling and
Yeah.
just like random noises. And then I asked one of the CEOs who wants to get into voice acting so badly. Like lots of CEOs really would love to voice in a horror game, but I always, if I can give them chances where they can make a small recording of something, I will ask. And one of
Mhm.
the CEOs did like this witch cackle, and I put like a little echo over it, and she was like, "You made me sound like in a movie." It's like it's just literally a little reverb put onto your already
Yeah.
very well done laugh. Like,
Sometimes that's all you need, right? To give
yeah.
it that like personal touch.
Hmm. Um, Flashmade Fear was the most wishlisted game on Halloween. How did that feel?
It was pretty cool. Like wish lists are wish lists to me at this point. It's like a means to an end.
Yes, they
Uh,
are important. Like, let's not kid. Like, that's how you get visibility on Steam.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I try not to like, because I used to obsess over like wish list numbers and stuff like
Hmm.
that, because I felt like it was the only way that I was ever going to get noticed. But I'm at a point where I'm just, you know, I'm definitely happy that that happened, but I'm not like super hyper focused on it
That's
as
good.
much as I used to be.
Hmm.
Um, but
That's
that's just
healthy.
because I've built like a reputation with my games up to this
Hmm.
point. So I know that when I release a game that there'll be people who play it. So I don't really fixate too much on that kind of stuff anymore. But it was a great feeling to see those kind of wish list numbers and
Yeah,
get to that point because um, for a lot of indie devs, even getting to like 5 or 7,000 wish list is like quite the achievement and is something that should be celebrated for sure. So getting to like 35, I was just like, wow, that's absolutely amazing and like beyond my wildest dreams.
yeah, I love that. Yeah, That's very, very healthy. We know that as content creators as well, right? There's always people that will come and watch your stream. So obsessing over if it's like 40 or if it's 30 should not make such a big difference. I try hard to value the people that are there. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you still focus on the things that you would
It's hard not
rather
to.
have. But yeah, I think that's a healthy way of looking at it.
Yeah, totally. Like at the end of the day, you know, like it's more important to just take care of your mental, you know.
Hmm.
So like hyper fixating on like like your view numbers or wish list numbers or anything like that. I mean, all that really does is just add to your stress, you know.
Yeah. I worked at a game publisher before, for social media, and there was always like the biggest focus wishlist, 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 because all the games weren't out at the time where I worked there. So they were working towards the release or the early access release at least. And
Yeah.
it would always be like our work would often be measured in how many wishlists did this post produce, and we cannot make people wishlist. We can say in every single TikTok that we create wishlist now. That doesn't mean that people will do it. Like the product has to be
Right.
interesting enough for them to do it.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, even when it comes to content creation, like if you're making an interesting product, whether it be streaming or a YouTube video or podcast or interview or something like that, that's going to speak a lot more than like, flame posting on social media, trying to get people to check something out over and over again. I think
Yeah.
that would just end up like annoying people at the end of the day. Not to say that it does help to post consistently, but it also, I think the most important thing is having, like you said, like an interesting product.
Yeah. And obviously, sometimes there are so many good things out there, products, content, games that are just not seen. People don't find them. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of luck.
Yeah, definitely. There's actually a lot. I think there's a lot of luck involved in it.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like releasing a game, because uh, there's been plenty of games that have gotten tons of hype going up to release, and then the
Hmm.
game comes out and it just like crashes and burns. Um, so like, there's definitely some interesting luck that goes into the release of the game, but it also, I think, going back to like the idea of having an interesting and well-made product, I think is very important too. It's like 50-50. Like you want to have something that's really well made, that doesn't have a lot of bugs, or ideally no bugs, right?
Well, that's almost impossible.
But yeah, I know everybody's gonna find something to break your game, right?
Yeah.
But also, I think also, having the luck of like, somebody like Queso or another
Hmm.
huge streamer or something like that playing your game, obviously is gonna have your game skyrocket much more than if you didn't, right?
Yeah, for sure. So you do marketing really well. I feel like all the like marketing, not in like the businessy kind of way, but you share a lot of insights while you make your games and just let people experience the process a little bit. I feel like that's something a lot of indie devs struggle with. All the little interviews that I made for the CEO social, anytime I ask them, the solo devs, what's the hardest part, everybody will say marketing, like getting your
Yeah.
game out there. And I feel like you're doing a very good job. Do you have like tricks, or does it come naturally to you to just share the process?
It,
And
it it's just something that like I developed over time, I guess. Because like with Suffer the Night and Terra Oakheart, like I didn't really post that much with
mm-hmm.
the development process, and then like with Massacre at the Mirage, I kind of like actively took on a more of a role of trying to make sure that I would consistently post stuff, which still wasn't quite there. But for Flesh Made Fear, I was having so much fun making the game. Like every day was just such a blast doing like level design or creature design, 3D modeling, texturing, music and stuff like that. That I just had so much to share, and I was just like so excited about sharing all this stuff because it was just so much fun to make. Like it really was a passion project for me in the sense that, like I had mentioned earlier, that it was something I always wanted to do.
Hmm.
So it was very easy for me to just like at the end of the day just do like a little video or like a couple pictures here and there of what I had done for the day. And it was in my mind, at least in my like I said, like in my mind, it was like interesting enough to share, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, I would say that to any indie developer who is working every day on their game. You know, like don't be afraid to share your progress every day, even if it's a little like something small or tiny. You know, every accomplishment is worth sharing because you know people are. I think people are generally interested in seeing how the process of how a game is made from start to finish. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's very entertaining to watch something like that come together. You know, so you know if you just take a little bit extra time at the end of the day to just make like a little video or like take a couple pictures or share some music or something like that and just post it on all their socials and just let people you know experience what you're doing. You know, I think
Yeah.
that really helps kind of build hype for the game too, you know.
I, as a consumer, absolutely love that. Like, if I find a pro like a game or production of any kind, like I'm a big fan of Epic the Musical, and
Mhm.
that's basically made on social media. Like everything, the creator of that, every single piece that he made progress, he posts on social media, and he's now working on the next one and sharing it on. And it's just it just grows attachment as well because you feel like you've been there from the start and you see it grow,
Yeah,
and then in the end you have this final product and you feel like you've been kind of part of making it even though you didn't do anything, but you saw everything that happened on the way, or at
right.
least what the creators are sharing. So
Yeah,
I
and
definitely
it's
love that.
rewarding to the developer as well because like seeing people respond positively to like your post, whether it's like
Hmm.
liking or commenting or sharing, you know, it kind of you know it adds fuel to your creative fire to keep you going. You know, keeps you motivated. Um, you know, because like if you're working every single day and no for like months on end and nobody's seen any progress for your game or anything like that, um, you know, you can kind of get like a little bit lost in the sauce, you know,
Yeah.
in the sense that you might lose your motivation and you know, kind of just maybe even give up on the project altogether. So I think consistently posting every day and letting people see your work not only gets them excited about the game, but also keeps you motivated and helps you set goals, like setting out like a daily list of things you want to do for the game, and then have those things ready to be posted and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
keeps you consistent.
Yes. You already mentioned like Queso, and we talked earlier about a couple of streamers that we both know and frequently visit their chats. How important do you think like content creators like YouTubers or Twitch streamers are? Even like not giant streamers like Queso, but like
Mhm.
smaller creators.
You know, I think it's important to build a community. You know, at least that's what I've tried to do with my games. Is that like I actively hang out in all kinds of streamers chats and stuff like that, and I make it a point to you know try to be friendly and even develop friendships with a lot of people,
Hmm.
not only with the streamers but people in their chat, just because like we're all part of this horror community, you know.
Yeah.
And as a developer, I think it's important to be a part of that community, you know, not just like kind of section yourself off from the public while you're making your game and then releasing it and then hoping it does well, you know. Um, but as far as like how streaming and like YouTubers affect your game and stuff like that, as far as sales and wish lists, they definitely help, especially like with wish lists. I think it helps.
Hmm.
Um, but to be honest, in my experience, It depends really on the type of game that you're releasing, if it helps sales or not. Like,
Yeah.
if you're releasing a game that's just like a walking simulator horror game, that's like you play it one time and you get the whole story, and then that's it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like it's not really going to help your sales
Yeah.
because the people who watch the streamers play it, they're going to get the full experience of the game. So like they're not really going to want to buy it. And a lot of people not necessarily like to play horror games. They like to watch their favorite streamer play horror games,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. I know that there's like people who come to chat and say are like, I could never play this, and then I will be like,
Right, right,
I could never play this if I wasn't on stream.
right. So like, it for games like that, it doesn't really help that much with sales. But
Hmm.
like if you have a game that has like an interesting game loop, that has like a lot of replayability, uh, then you might see like a really big uptick in sales.
Hmm.
If a big streamer or a medium-sized streamer or even a small streamer plays it, because it's got an interesting hook that people want to experience for themselves, you know?
Yeah, I feel like Mortuary Assistant is a game that very much works like that, where every playthrough is a little bit different, and then you change a thing here and there, and then the viewers realize that it's not the same every time you play it, and when they will play it, it
Yeah,
will feel different.
exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, like that's something that you should strive to do is have some kind of replayability for your game.
Hmm.
If you have like just like a one and done experience, it's going to get kind of kneecapped
Yeah.
by the fact that streamers are going to play it, and then like everybody's going to see the whole game and like already know everything from start to finish. So having some kind of like I said, replayability or kind of like randomization that's in your game, I think will definitely help drive sales more.
For me, I think Massacre de Mirage has that, not because there's like things that will be different next time I play, but it's like so inspired by slashers that it's meta as well. Like it gets the humor, it knows what it does. It's like a little bit like Scream, just as a
Mhm.
game, because Scream also has this meta level that just makes it. Yes, it's scary, but it's also very funny. And I think
Right, right.
that makes it
Yeah,
because
that was pretty much my goal for the game was like
Mhm.
I wanted people to be able to play like a horror movie essentially.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give them that experience of like they're watching a horror movie, but they're playing it. So
Mhm.
I think it's fun in that aspect, especially like around Halloween, to just pop that on like you would pop on like your favorite Friday the 13th movie or Halloween movie,
Exactly. Yes, and
and
that's what I think it does.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And just chill out for a couple hours because the game is like it's not gonna like challenge you in ways that make you like die and replay it a bunch of times. There
Yeah.
are a couple parts where you could technically die and stuff like that, but it's more of just like an experience. Like you're
Mhm.
going from point A to point B, and then it's got that little simulation mode in there with the snack bar and everything like that. So you get some like a little bit of cozy vibes in between the scenes of gore and as the plot unfolds and stuff like that. So it's just like a nice little 2 hour cozy horror game.
Mhm. Yeah, I like it a lot. Uh
Thank you.
so now that by the time this episode comes out, it's already been a couple of months because I'm pre-producing, lazy as I am. Um
That's a good way
but
to do it.
I think so,
Honestly.
because what if I have like a bad month and I don't feel like recording any podcasts, and then there will not be an
Mhm.
episode that month? I would be sad.
It's good to have things lined up, ready to go way in
Yeah.
advance. So if something comes up in life or some kind of situation, like you're already prepared to go,
Yeah.
and just don't
So
have to
now
worry about
that
trying up.
Flash to Fear, Flashmade Fear is has come out. How was the release date? How did you just like look into streams, watch people play, check X on reactions, refresh Steam reviews? How did it look?
Yeah, it's been great so far. It's only been a few days from since the release. I think today is day 4,
Hmm.
but it's already made more sales and more money than Massacre at the Mirage, Suffer the Night, and Terra Oakheart made all together in their first week.
Oh, that's awesome. I
So
love that
yeah,
for you.
yeah, so it's doing really well. I'm really happy with the reception. It's getting really good reviews. You know, it's just been rewarding. You know, I'm really thankful for everybody who helped me with the projects, all the streamers who did voice acting, the artist Faye who helped me with some of the 3D modeling, everybody else on the publishing team. You know, we all kind of just came together and made this game, and yeah, I mean, it's just been great.
Mm.
I'm really enjoying watching all the streamers play it. I know it's
Struggle.
been fun. I had such a blast watching Wolfie, Wolf at Your Gate play it.
Hmm.
You know, because she was just struggling so hard with the tank controls.
I
But
feel
you
that
know,
so hard.
it was all in good fun, and you know, she's such an awesome person, and you know,
Hmm.
she's just a great friend. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been great.
I'm glad. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So speaking of streamers voicing characters, there was the same in Massacre at the Mirage. There was Lulu Likes in there, Sharky, lots of people from Let's Split Up.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Like, did you approach them, or did Let's Split Up come to you, or?
Uh, I just like naturally developed over time. I think you know because a lot of them had played like Suffer the Night and stuff like that, and some of them had played Terra Oakheart, and I would just like casually hang out in their streams while I was like developing games and stuff like that, you know, and then I don't know, I just hit them up. I was like, "Hey, you want to do some voice acting?" And I just kept asking, and everybody seemed to be really open to the idea.
Yeah, I tell
And
that indie devs all the time. Like, it's this big trend now to use AI voices. And
oh,
I'm
I
like,
hate.
there's no reason. Like, I get it, it's fast, but it also, you can tell it was fast.
Yeah,
Just like, there are so many content creators who would do it for free. And yes, they don't sound professional because they aren't professionals, but they still sound better than AI voices, in my opinion. Was that ever an option for you to opt for AI voices?
no, not really. I mean, like, they just sound too robotic to me. Like, even like the most modern stuff, like you can kind of just tell. I mean, you know what? And I'm sure within the next couple of years, it'll probably get to a point where it's like really, really hard to tell if it's
Mm-hmm.
AI or not, because AI is just like it's growing at such a pace that it seems insane. Like every new model that comes out is just like so much better than the last as far as quality goes.
Yeah, it's true.
I have no idea what it's going to be like just a couple of years from now. It's going to be pretty crazy. Um, but with me, it's not really like the idea of trying to work quick or anything like that. I like bringing people in who are passionate about horror because I'm passionate about horror.
Mm-hmm.
So I see all these streamers playing horror games every day, you know, and helping out devs by playing their games and stuff like that. And it's like, why wouldn't I want to work with somebody like that? And you know, a lot of the times they have really good mic setups, you know, and a lot of streamers have really interesting voices. I think personally, you
Yeah.
know, that's like one of the main selling points of being a streamer is like your personality and your voice, you know. So it's like the foundation's already there to be like a voice actor because you're literally talking into a mic all day already. So you just like the idea of grabbing people and seeing like if we can make it work, you know, and giving them a shot to like, you know, potentially even become like a professional
Yeah.
voice actor just by having, you know, some of my games on their portfolio they can use as references or as a reel or something like that. You know, they could maybe segue into getting some other jobs from other developers, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Mr. Kirok, also a CEO of Screams member. He is a voice actor. Like he had his first voice role in what is it called? Homestead? I forget. But he had this very small role where he just played a cop talking on the phone, just leaving a message on the phone. And that just opened so many windows for having to show something to other developers. And then they wanted his voice. And then he got more and more roles. And he does it semi-professional as far as I know now. And that's just from this one role that he did not expect to bring him so many other cool roles.
Yeah, I worked with Lena Laser on Flesh Made Fear, and it was her first time doing voice acting for anything. And I know that since then she has gotten quite a few different opportunities offered to her. I don't know which ones she's taken or not, but yeah, but it all started with Flesh Made Fear. So just having that as a starting point, I'm sure it was a good way of opening doors for her, or having something to show to other people, or gave other devs the idea of like, oh yeah, maybe we can ask her to be in our game as well, or something like that. And it was, I would just bring it back to like I could definitely work with professional voice actors if I wanted to, but I think it's just much more fun to work with people who are like in the scene,
Yeah,
just not just way cooler.
There's passion behind it, and not just doing it because they get money for it.
Exactly, like like a professional voice actor. Not to throw any shade on professional voice.
No, that's why it's a job. They're doing a great job, but it's a different thing.
But it might just be like a job in their eyes, Whereas as if I'm working with an indie horror content creator, then not only do I have the opportunity to work with somebody who's passionate about horror, but I also potentially like give them an avenue to do something creative that they might really enjoy.
Yeah, with my accent, it's kind of hard. Like when people like indie devs look for voices, they rarely look for somebody who has a thick German accent. But I do have a game that I will be voicing where actually the accent was the selling point.
I was just going to say that, like, I think having that accent actually could be a very big selling point, because like you could really dive into some interesting characters with an accent like that, whether it be like, some kind of like evil German doctor or something like that. Some crazy fucking, I don't know, like the German accent just plays really well with like evil characters.
Oh yeah, definitely. We built that history.
Right. Yeah. So that's definitely like an avenue you could explore.
Definitely, yeah. Villains, I had one game dev where I did like a real audition and sent him voice notes, and I was supposed to play this demon possessed nun. And somehow the dev disappeared. Like the game and the dev are just gone, so that's not gonna happen.
That happens sometimes. Sometimes.
But in this case, it makes sense that a character that I will be voicing had a German accent, so that's gonna be fun. I hope this one doesn't disappear.
All right. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Well, I'm excited to hear it. Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna see how it goes. Who can we hear in Flesh Made Fear?
Oh, there's a bunch of people. I mean, there's Lena Laser. There's Caroline.
Oh, I love Caroline.
There's Daniel Sirachi. I think that's how you say his last name.
Also Let's Split Up member, right?
Yeah. There's Rax Arcade, who he's like in almost every one of my games. Like he's so good at voice acting, and he's just a really good friend. And Yeah, he does a great job. He always plays the villains, but he also does a bunch of other voices for my games too. He just has a really good range. He's a great guy.
Hmm.
Sharky's in it. Hexy's in it. Reaps. Scotchy's in it. Just a bunch of streamers, like a bunch of really cool people.
I love that. It makes me want to play the game even. It's gonna be a game that I will buy again, and then I will play it, and then I will get frustrated and probably never finish it. But knowing that there are so many cool streamers and content creators in there makes me just want to play it even more.
Yeah, and then I also added a bunch of plushies for people who like I didn't ask to do voice acting for, but I'm still friends with, or like that I respect greatly, or I'm thankful because they've played my games in the past. You know, like I added little plushies of collectible plushies of something of theirs, whether it's them or like an emote of theirs or something like that.
Yeah.
Throughout the game.
It was lucky that
Just to say-
Sharky already has a plushie that you could just build into the game.
Exactly. Yeah, that was an easy one, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just my way of saying thank you, you know, for checking out my games and playing them and sharing them with the communities.
Hmm. So, do you sometimes browse the game categories of your game and just watch random people play the games? So, like, not only your Twitch friends or Twitch communities you are already part of, just stay in the shadow and see what they say?
Oh, definitely. Sometimes, like I usually do that more around the release of a game. As time goes on. Like I'll see, like I get notifications every time somebody starts streaming it, or like if somebody releases a YouTube video. As time goes on, like I usually am like in like a development cycle for the next game, so I maybe might not watch as much as I do towards the release of the game. But I definitely love lurking.
Yeah.
and because I'll usually say hi or something towards the end of the game and let them know that I was lurking. But like I just like to see people's natural reactions.
Yeah, so
you
they
know?
don't like, because for me, if the dev is there, I like that, but I will definitely talk nicer.
Yeah.
I don't like to shit on games. I don't usually, even if I don't enjoy it, like I'm just like, okay, that's not for me, and I just stop playing it. But if I know the dev is there, I will give him feedback or them feedback and just like talk to them as well. While often I have a dev come in at the end and then be like, oh, thank you for playing our game. It's like, oh my god, you were here the entire time. That's embarrassing. But also I would do exactly the same thing because I would want to see how they react naturally.
No, I think most devs probably want to get like an honest reaction. You know, there's definitely like streamers that I'm friends with that like when they play the game, I'll like immediately pop in and then like we'll talk shit together. You know,
Yeah,
because it's just fun. But like if it's somebody that like I don't watch regularly, you know, I definitely want to get like a more natural like reaction or feedback from them. So like popping in immediately and being like, hey, I'm the dev, thanks for playing, kind of like ruins that whole chance of getting a natural reaction.
and have streamers like no matter if like people you didn't know or people you did know, have they influenced how you make a game? Like somebody played a demo and had some input and then you actually change stuff about your games, or does that not
There's been a
usually
couple times where I have gotten like direct feedback from a streamer while they're playing the game. And I've made changes. It usually happens on the demo, not usually on full release, because once like the full release comes out, I'm
Yeah,
usually
it's
like
done.
I'm checking like the forums for bug reports and stuff like that, and doing stuff like that and fixing those bugs. But with like, there's definitely been a couple times where I've watched streamers play the demo of either Massacre or Terra Okart or Flesh Made Fear, and they made suggestions and made changes to the game based upon their feedback.
My pet peeve is text that just goes away before I finish reading because I'm such a slow reader. And there's like if it's subtitles, obviously it has to go away once the line is spoken. But if there's like a long text in the beginning and you read it as an introduction and then it just disappears halfway through, and I'm like, I'm not done reading. Just put a button prompt that I can just say I'm ready.
That's what I do. It's like I always add skip to next as
Hmm.
for my dialogue, so they can sit there and actually read it, and then move to the next point
Yeah, I'm
when
so
they watch it.
grateful.
Yeah, because I'm the same way. I'm a slow reader too. So if I'm playing a game and like there's like a wall of text and a cutscene and like I'm trying to read it and then it just goes away and then I miss all this story context because of it.
Yeah,
It can definitely be annoying.
yeah. We already talked about that you always wanted to make a survival horror game. Are there any other games that are like one of your goals where you want to go and what you want to do?
Yeah, there is like one style that I really want to explore. I don't know if it's a style, but I guess it's like a kind of a type of game where it's kind of like ARG or uncanny, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or even cryptid kind of ideas, where it's like a mixture of that, but with the gameplay loop of like I'm not human or Papers, Please. You ever played that
Mm-hmm.
game?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah. That's something that's pretty big recently.
I
There are only a few, but
mhm.
some of them go like people love them.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting genre where like you have to like inspect people for um maybe like they have like some weird thing about them, or like
Mm-hmm.
this kind of like infection that you're trying to keep out of a certain place or something like that. I like that idea. And I think it's an interesting gameplay loop because it's engaging where you're trying to like investigate people and stuff like that. So it's definitely something it's been like stewing in the back of my head as far as like wanting to make something like that. I think it would be fun and interesting. I just
Mm-hmm.
haven't really thought too much about what the themes would be or the story, but I know it's definitely something I'm interested in.
So for now, you're just like getting back into a brainstorming phase, or do you already have plans for the next game?
So I'm actually about to start development on a new project, but it's not going to be a Tainted Pact game. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a game for a friend of mine.
Mm.
She has a really cool story that she came up with, and she needs help with like the technical side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm helping her out. It's going to be a small project, nothing like crazy or anything like that. Just like a simple walking sim game, horror game, but it's just something for me to stay busy with, I think, until I kind of like stew over this next project in my head about what I want to do as far as the next Tainted Pack game goes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be working on that for a few months, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I probably won't start the next Tainted Pack game until sometime early next year.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Will we hear about this game? Like, will you share just like you share about Tainted Pact games?
Oh, definitely, definitely, yeah. When like we're still like just getting our stuff together as far as like pre-production goes,
Mm-hmm.
once we still have I have stuff to show off, I'll definitely be showing it off on my social media and stuff like that.
I'm excited for that. Do
Yeah.
you so you plan on just generally staying in horror? There's no plans of going into different directions at any time?
Um, at least for the next year or two, probably stay in horror. I do
Mm-hmm.
like the idea of um moving into a different genre. But I think everything will still like be horror coded,
Yeah, yeah. Like a
like
dark
like
theme.
yeah, like I might move into like a different genre of game, whether it be more action or maybe more like strategy or something like that. But I think the tone and the thematics of the game will always be tied to horror in some way, because that's just who I am. Yeah, that's what I like to make. Like I really don't want to make some like anime girl gotcha game or something like that.
Yeah.
That's not really something
Just
I'm interested
not
in
your
doing.
style. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely open to different genres. but like I said, I think everything would be, coated with horror.
Hmm. Would you say it comes naturally to you to keep all your games so unique to each other? Like, I don't think any of your games feels like a copy of the one you made before. Is that something that just happens naturally, or do you do that on purpose? Like, do you focus on trying not to copy yourself?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. I'm definitely conscious of trying not to uh, rehash things from other games.
Hmm.
But sometimes there is like some carryover and some aspects of like puzzle solving and stuff like that. Because there's only so many ways that you can do like a sequence puzzle or something like that.
Yeah.
But as far as like the story and stuff like that, I actively try not to copy or replicate things that I've already made.
Hmm. Well, it can be kind of successful if you have like one hit and then copy that for a while. I feel like Amica games, for example, uh, for a while, like they are such a big name. Every time a new CEO joins the team, I'm like, what are your top 3 horror games? And so many times people will say all Amica games, and I'm like, they are good, but if we are all honest, they do feel very samey.
Yeah,
Um,
that's completely fine. Like,
yeah,
I think
it's like
I think
a success recipe, I guess. If it
yeah,
works, it works.
there's a lot of devs who are like that, who are just like, this is my thing. I'm gonna stick to it.
Yeah.
I've had success with it. I'm totally fine with making more of this. And that's totally fine. Like just me personally though, I just like to like I explained earlier, like I like to learn new things and
Mm.
and kind of like try to expand my knowledge with each game. So if I reach a point where there's overlap with this, like the kind of thematics and story, but it still allows me to like explore different gameplay mechanics or different ideas for expanding my programming knowledge, then I totally would make something similar to like another game. I like if I wanted to make another slasher kind of horror game like Massacre at the Mirage, but have like different mechanics in it that make it completely unique and different to Massacre at the Mirage, but still has that kind of slasher horror aesthetic and like storytelling,
Mm.
then I'm totally open to doing that. It kind of just depends on the kind of gameplay loop I'm going for, and whether or not it'll fit that kind of story.
I'm a little biased. I would be down to play another Massacre to Mirage.
Yeah, I know. I get a lot of requests to make a sequel to Massacre at the Mirage all the
Uh-huh.
time.
Yeah, I can
So
I can
it's
imagine it. I
definitely
feel like it's just so fun.
it's definitely something I've thought about, and it's something that I could revisit in the future.
Hmm.
It's just it would definitely have to be something I have to think about, you know, as far
Yeah.
as like where the story would go, and how to make it fun and interesting and different from the first game, but still have that kind of charm and
Yeah.
goofiness that the first one has.
Hmm. Um, since you started making games, has your view on horror changed? Is there things that you just generally learned about horror? Not only horror games, just horror as a genre in any pop culture thing, really.
I think so. I mean, horror is pretty, you know, it's pretty much the same across all different forms of media.
Hmm.
And it's I love horror, whether it be a horror movie, a horror book, horror audio book, or even like you know, like a YouTube video where it's just someone like reading a creepy pasta or something like that,
Hmm.
you know, or horror video games. I've always loved horror. Horror, it's just the perfect genre to me. You know,
Yeah.
you can explore so many different ranges of emotion in horror. Something can be absolutely terrifying, something can be funny and goofy but still scary, something can be heartfelt and traumatic in horror. You know, like you can get a full spectrum of emotion in horror. So it's just, for me creatively, it's the perfect genre to like kind of tell any kind of story you want to tell,
I
honestly.
agree. I agree. Fully there with you. Like I watch a lot of movies in general, but horror is like the number one genre. And there's like so many subgenres. My favorite is like science fiction horror. Absolutely love science fiction horror.
Yeah.
But as you saw, as I mentioned, slashers also very fun. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it's like a good one or something that's not as great. It's still fun. Like slashers can be fun no matter what the quality of the actual slasher is at the end of the day.
It's interesting because like me and Scaroline talk sometimes about horror movies, especially when she's streaming, and like sometimes we'll butt heads a little bit because our taste in horror is kind of like you know, pretty different. But there's still that appreciation that we both have for it, you know. So it's like that's the great thing about it, is like it's such a broad spectrum that like you could have something super campy and goofy like Friday the 13th, you know, and then you could have something that's like super traumatic and crazy, like Hereditary or something like that, you know. So it's all over the place. It's great.
What do you butt heads over? Like, what are your
Oh, just
diverging opinions?
different tastes. Like, you know, there's like she may like something that's, you know, like a little more serious, or has like certain thematic things to them that like I totally don't like at all. Or maybe like, you know, because I like really goofy kind of like slapstick horror, you know.
Yeah,
That's like where I'm at, you know. And I think maybe I think she likes that stuff too, but maybe she has like more of a taste for like stuff that's a little more like serious, that
yeah,
has like
like
more
the
serious tone.
elevated horror kind of
Yeah, like
thing.
elevated horror, something that has like a deeper meaning or kind of like invokes certain emotions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
While me, like I just love to watch someone get their head chopped off and then like shoot themselves, you know? Like that's
yeah.
where it's at for me. Like I'm like, hell yeah.
I'm somewhere in between you. Like, am I the only horror movie that ever made me scream? Like, not like a jump scare, short gasps kind of scream, but like a literal, oh my god, I'm so scared, was Hereditary. But
Mhm.
I also I recently watched April Fool's Day, and I had such a blast watching that for the first time. What a fun, stupid slasher.
Yeah,
I
totally.
love that one.
That was
So yeah,
great.
I'm definitely in between the two of you. I think it depends on the mood, but I'm.
You know, I do like some of the serious stuff too, but it's not like my go-to, you know.
Mhm.
Like there's definitely some really awesome, like I love The Thing. Like The
Yeah,
Thing is
it's in
probably
my
like
top
my favorite
five.
horror movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's probably my absolute favorite. And
Hmm.
that's a really serious toned movie, you know. There's no like goofy stuff going on in that,
Yeah.
you know. But like if I'm just like casually at the end of the day going to watch something, like most of the time it's usually something I want to watch that's going to make me uh laugh, you know, because I'm
Mm.
trying to like unwind. Like I don't want to go through like some emotional journey and then feel you know, like a certain way afterwards, you know. Which is cool sometimes, like if like I'm in the mood for it, you know. But
Yeah.
I think most of the time I'm just like I want to see something goofy and funny and like, you know, kind of scary, that has moments of tension and stuff like that. That's just my personal taste, which I totally get. Like if somebody doesn't like that, you know,
Hmm.
everybody has their own taste when it comes to horror. You know?
Definitely. And you cannot rely on the opinion of somebody else, because fear is so subjective sometimes that somebody
Yeah.
will tell you that's not scary at all. Like I have a friend who doesn't watch a lot of horror, and I watched Annihilation, And I thought it was a great movie. I watched it twice. After I watched it the first time, I was like, okay, I will watch this again tonight because I had so much fun. And then I told a friend about it, and she was like, can I watch it? And it's like, yeah, I don't think it's too scary. Like, there's like one or two scary moments for you. What I didn't know was like she's absolutely terrified of aliens in general.
Yeah.
So for her, that was one of the scariest movies she has ever watched. And I was like, oh, oopsie. And then I tell people that Hereditary made me scream, and they're like, but why? It's like, it just was. It's just, I was so tense the entire movie, and then at one point it just bursted out.
See, it's interesting because Hereditary for me, I thought was a great movie, but every time I kept hearing that noise, that the girl makes, yeah, that noise.
Yeah.
Like it would just like instantly take me out of the movie, and I would start giggling. I don't know why. It was just funny to me. Like I know it was supposed to be like creepy and like she's like there watching you, but like it just sounds funny to me because it's a funny noise, So like, it would just always take me out of the scene, which is fine. But it was just a funny thing to me,
It's interesting, yeah. It reminded me
in that movie where I'm like, oh my god, what the hell? Like when she's crawling on the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah, or just crazy. Like the not to spoil too much, but like the piano string thing.
That was gnarly.
Yeah.
So gnarly.
Yeah, so the little noise the kid makes reminded me of the clapping in the was it the first Conjuring movie? I think the first Conjuring, where they do the hide and seek and then they clap to find each other.
That's right. Yeah. That's pretty similar.
Yeah, just like a random clap that sometimes, and then you turn around and there's nobody. That's what it reminded me of. Going back to your game development, like while you were still in the process of making Fleshmade Fear, how does like a typical day look for you for the progress? When do you get up, get coffee? Is it like a 9 to 5, or do you have a different? Yeah.
I when I first started game dev, like it was kind of like more of a hobby and like something I would do for fun on the weekends or something like that. But at this point, it's a full-time job for me. So I don't do anything else other than game dev. But what I usually do is like I'll get up in the morning, I'll make some coffee or make some tea or something like that, something with caffeine usually.
Yeah.
And then I'll play with my dog for a few minutes, and then I'll go over to my computer, I'll open up Notepad, and I like to set certain goals for the day. This is just something I developed, and I would encourage any indie developer to do this, because I think setting goals for the day gives you a great starting point and a good ending point. Because one of my issues was that I would always work too hard and too long, and I would forget about my personal health and my mental health. That would all kind of just fall to the wayside because I was just so in the game development, and everything else didn't matter, So I really have been trying to make it a point to do this, which is I open up Notepad and then I set specific goals of things that I want to do for the day. And then and I'll just treat it like a job, I'll work for a few hours and then I'll take a little bit of a break. And then I'll work for a couple more hours. And then once I get to my stopping point, if I finish early, then maybe I'll do a couple extra things. But in most cases, I'll just stop,
Yeah.
But, that's my end point for the day, just so that I have a stopping point so that I know, okay, this is when I'm done for my work for the day. Now I need to take care of myself.
Yeah. That's great. So it's not, you're not going from this time to this time, like from 9 to 5, but you are going.
Yeah. Well, no, I do set a time.
Tasks.
I do set a time, and if I don't meet those tasks, then that's okay too.
Yeah, then the day is done or still. But if you finish earlier, then
yeah, you
don't force yourself.
I don't force myself to keep going if I finish early. But like I do have a specific time that I will stop at. It's usually like the 7 to 8 hour mark, like a normal job.
Yeah.
And then I'll force myself to stop. and then I usually like do some kind of like physical activity, whether it be like lifting weights or like I bought this treadmill that fits perfectly under my desk,
Mm.
and then like I'll just do like a nice hour and a half walk on it,
Hmm.
like and watch something on YouTube or something like that, and
Yeah.
grab some dinner, play with my dog again, go to sleep, do it again the next day.
Love that. Yeah, I love that. But it also, it makes. Are you somewhere on the neurodiverse spectrum?
I don't think so. I have no
Mm.
idea, to be
Because
honest. I've
for
never really.
me, I think, and a lot of people, ADHD people, have to write down what they will do over the day. And what you described, like being so into the creation of the games and like so hyper focused
Mhm.
and that you don't want to stop. I have that a lot. If I'm like very passionate about something, I will not I will not eat, I will not go back to bed at a normal time. I just want to continue doing it. And it's kind of almost like an addiction that's like temporary, but it
Mhm.
is it is very similar. And for me, for every day, I do have to write down what I will want to do this day. Otherwise, I won't manage to do anything. Or I get so hung up on one task that I will just forget time and then do it for way too long.
I mean, that definitely happens. Like when I go into like the month before release, things
Hmm.
get really, really, really hectic. Um,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of panic on my side. But that's just because we're getting close to release and stuff like that. But like when I'm in like my normal development cycle, which usually lasts for like 6 to 8 months, um, I don't know. It's just something I've developed over time where I've been trying to be really more conscious of taking care of myself and
Hmm.
to discipline myself to treat this like a job and not overwork myself.
Yeah. That's also something that content creators who like there's so many of us who want to make this a career, but they don't treat it like a career. Like they don't plan out things, they don't use a calendar or block out certain hours for certain things, and then they aren't sure why it's not working. But it's like if you want it to be a job, treat it like a job. If you want it to be a hobby, then treat it like a hobby.
Yeah.
And you have to pull yourself together a little bit if you want to make it a living from it.
I think it's much more easier to stay consistent too. Like if you have a schedule and everything like that, and because if you're working constantly all into the night and then you sleep and then you wake up and do it again, like you're gonna be all over the place. Your life is gonna be all over the place, and it's gonna affect your mental, which is in turn gonna affect your mood and your work and every aspect of everything that you're doing. So having a nice schedule set and sticking to it and doing other things to make sure that you're happy outside
Mm-hmm.
of your creative process that is has nothing to do with whatever creative thing you're doing. That's just something fun for you to do. For me, it's exercising or playing with my dog or
Yeah.
something like that, just so that you can recover, and prepare yourself to go back at it, because if you're just going and going and going and going, like you're going to burn yourself out completely, and then you're going to feel miserable and sad and depressed, and it's not going to be a good time.
Yes, for sure. I read an article once that talked about how creating and making art is also kind of grieving because you have this idea of something and then there are things that will not turn out the way you wanted them, or you realize that a couple of your ideas don't really go together very well, so you have to say goodbye to some of those ideas.
Mhm.
Did you have stuff like that happen, like in Flashmade Fear or in any other games where you just had to cut certain ideas because it didn't work out as you
Oh,
expected it to be?
definitely. Definitely. There's definitely ideas that I had for all my games that I had to cut back, or remove altogether. But
Mm.
that just comes back to the idea of keeping your game in scope, you know. And like my a statement when I said that, like, you have this game in your mind, this idea that's this perfect creation that you want to make, but you're just one person at the end of the day. If you're a solo dev like I am, then you have to realize, like, you're going to have shortcomings. Like, you're not perfect. You're not going to be able to convey the ideas in your head perfectly in every aspect and every scene that you want to. Um, and that's okay. You have to be okay with that. You
Yeah.
have to, at the end of the day, you just got to be okay with that, and let certain things go, and just focus on what you can do and the time that you've given yourself to do it,
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, there's been times where I've been working on something, and then I'll have this really cool idea just pop in my head because I'm working on something, and then I'll have this whole other aspect that I never even thought of that I'm able to add to the game, and it's something new that I didn't even think of before. That's really cool. So then, like, that's rewarding in its own sense. So
Yeah.
it's a give and take kind of a situation, like, where maybe you're compromising in something, but maybe that opens the door for a different idea to come in that you didn't even think of before, that is totally cool, that you're really excited about. So, it's like an ebb and flow of the creative process of creating and cutting and new ideas coming up, and just kind of, that's just part of the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think indie horror games do better than big budget horror games? Because obviously they have to work for the money, they have to please the publisher. What is better in indie horror than it is in AAA or even double A titles?
um I think, like, indie developers usually come up with some really cool ideas as far as, like, thematics go, and even some, like cool and interesting ideas as far as gameplay mechanics. That's the cool thing about it, is, like, there's no huge weight on your shoulders that you would have from, like, a massive AAA company to, like, deliver something that's going to sell uh, a ridiculous amount of copies, or else it's seen as a complete failure.
Mm-hmm.
So just having that complete freedom to explore any idea that pops in your head, and then be able to experiment. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about indie game development, is that you can experiment, and wherever that takes you is where it takes you, and that's I think is one of the best aspects of it. So
Yeah.
um, I would say that's probably, like, the coolest thing about it compared to AAA, is that, like, you just have absolute creative freedom to do whatever you like.
But you have a publisher. How does that work? Like, do your publishers ever try to change your mind on things? Like, I know you cannot
No,
badmouth your publishers here right now, but
no, not at all. They give me complete freedom to do whatever I like.
mm,
They don't really. They'll make suggestions, but they never, like, force me to do anything.
yeah, that's great.
If it's the suggestions I think are warranted and are valid, then I'll take them into consideration, and make changes accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something that, like, I don't want to compromise on, then I won't. And as simple as that. They don't, like, push me in one direction or another. They'll
I'm
bring up
glad.
points. I'll bring up counterpoints, and at the end of the day, it's my decision, because it's my game, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just here. They're there to support me in my process.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is
Um,
great, because their assemble's been great, and I love working with them, and I've built a great relationship with them over the course of 4 games now that we've released together.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
At this point, like, it's a very great working relationship that we have.
good. That sounds great. I'm glad for you.
Thank you.
Um, is there horror? Are there currently some horror trends that you really love in gaming, as well as in like movies or anything, or trends that you are kind of sick of? Like, I know many are like walking sims are something that people are a little bit over. Some of them at least, or
Mhm.
like the job sim horror is also something that's very what is
Yeah.
it? Anomaly games.
Anomalies, yeah. I definitely do not do not like anomaly games. I cannot like I don't want to throw shade on any developers or anything like that, but I personally cannot stand anomaly games.
Hmm.
To me, it's just like spot the difference,
Yeah.
but like they horror code it so that they can try to like sell more copies because it's horror, you
Mm.
know. But at the end of the day, it's just spot the difference, which
Yeah.
is just there's no story, there's no like interesting concepts going on. It's just like, oh, here's a room, try to find what's different in it, you know.
Yeah. I
Um,
remember when the first ones came out, Observation Duty,
yeah, it was cool when it first came out, like it was
because it was
neat, but like
new.
it's
Yeah.
just yeah, but now it's just like, oh my god, man, like it's like every day there's like a new anomaly or even multiple anomaly games coming out. It
Hmm.
just seems like it's something that is easy to make and easy to turn around. So people just do it because they know streamers are going to play it
Yeah.
because streamers love playing those because it allows their audience to engage with them and help
Yeah.
them find
Exactly.
the anomalies. So it's definitely like a streamer bait kind of genre.
Yeah, it is. I remember the first time I saw I'm on Observation Duty was at Sharky's stream, and his chat was never as engaged as it was at back then. People just loved to like that chair looks different than before, and there were like 3 pictures before, and just like it's engaging, but it's for me. I enjoyed the cabin factory, but I was done with that so fast because I apparently are not bad at spotting the difference. Uh,
Yeah,
but for example, who's at the door? There's quite a bit
that
of
was a good one
story.
actually.
Yeah,
That one was
there's
actually
more
there.
story
There,
behind it.
there are anomalies within the anomaly genre that are
Hmm.
good. I think.
Yeah,
So I don't want to sit here and knock all of them,
yeah,
but there's like 9 out of 10 of them are just like pretty cookie cutter in their approach to it.
hmm,
Um, so it's not something that like I would creatively find very rewarding as a game developer to make.
yeah,
A lot of people might make it as their first game just to have something out there, which is totally fine. But uh, me personally, like I wouldn't want to make something like that because I wouldn't feel very proud or excited about making it. It would just be kind of like, um, this is just something I'm making because I'm thinking it's something that I think people want to play as opposed to something I want to make because I want to make it.
hmm, yeah. That's I feel like that's also a little bit the like not generally, but it can be the difference between content creation and art, because
Hmm.
art bring so much of yourself into your games, and clearly that's the case for you. Like you told us you like goofy and funny and kind of over the top horror movies, and that's also something that you put into your games. And
Yeah,
it's just more. I feel like as a consumer, that's also more interesting to consume. That's something personal, something unique that captures the personality of the person who actually made it.
exactly. It that's how you build a brand, is by
Hmm.
having unique products that express the ideas of you, but also the ideas of the stories that you want to tell and everything like that. So, at least in my experience, uh, I've had a lot of success by doing something like that, as opposed to kind of like trying to jump on a specific trend or whatever
Hmm.
is at the moment as far as indie horror goes.
Yeah. And what game was the first horror game that you can remember playing?
First horror game. Ooh,
Tough
I
one,
don't.
huh?
There was an old 3DO game that I played. I can't remember the name, but it was almost like it was almost like Doom or Castle Wolfenstein, where
Hmm.
you're like in this super rudimentary 3D environment, and you're just like moving through this like castle, and there's just like goofy and spooky skeletons and stuff and like that, and goofy horror screams stuff like that. I remember playing that when I was just a little kid. the first game that I can remember playing that actually scared the crap out of me was the first Resident Evil,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Playing that
Yeah.
on PlayStation. And to be honest, like I couldn't play it.
Was
Like
too
I tried to play
scary.
it. It was too scary. I had to watch my brother play it. And while he was playing it, we got to the point where you run into the hunter for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and the hunter decapitated the character he was playing as. And when that happened, he shut off the system, and we stopped playing it for like a month after that because we were both terrified of that game.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was me with Amnesia.
yeah.
My husband gave it to me like when it came out or a little bit after, and I played it for 30 minutes or something, and then I entered a room and it had 3 doors: the door you came through, and one to your right, and one in front of you. And I was standing in the middle of the room, and all 3 doors slammed shut at the same moment with a loud bang. And I pressed Alt F4 and never touched the game again. Because I like, by now, slowly I can play horror games by myself. Like I played a couple of Next Fest demos by myself. But usually I can only do it on stream. And I made my husband play. Before I became a streamer, I made him play all the games for me, and I just watched because I could not handle.
It's so much easier to just kick back and watch somebody else play it, and
Yeah.
let them suffer, right?
For sure, yeah. It's just like, and then there's only one game that he also was too scared to finish, and it was Alien Isolation. Back then, we didn't really look into indie horror all that much. We just played the titles that you knew, and that's so like Dead Space, Alien Isolation, Amnesia.
Those are all bangers, though. They're absolute, just great games.
They are
good choices.
But yeah, then I became a streamer and watched Sharky, and I started as a Sims streamer. I didn't play horror games on stream in the beginning. Right. But I had so much fun watching Sharky, and I was only watching horror streamers, but I was creating Sims content. So nobody, like, there was no networking because the people would not necessarily go to watch me play Sims while they are more into horror. Right, and then I started playing a little bit of horror, and then those were always the most fun streams. And then I just changed to switch completely to horror like 3 years ago or something now.
Yeah, I think a lot of content creators kind of like have a similar story where maybe they started with like more like normal games, I guess, and then they kind of like veered into horror just because horror is so much fun and exciting to play, so it's definitely relatable for sure.
So if you had to pick a horror movie that kind of captures the vibe that you want to bring out with your games, and it can just be one, which movie would it be?
Evil Dead 2.
Oh yeah. Perfect. Of course. Yeah, the humor, the gore.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's pretty much it. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. And if Flash Made Fear would become a movie in the future, who would you cast for the lead?
Oh,
you can just pick anyone.
You know what? I could see like Ryan Gosling, or like
that would be so cool.
or like Tatum, or what's his name? Channing Tatum. He would be great as like, because they have like that traditional like good-looking guy kind of
pretty boy face.
Yeah, but they also can do comedy,
Yeah. Ryan Gosling, I always say, people somehow still see him as either this heartthrob guy, or they only see the driver from Drive. But Ryan Gosling has great physical comedy.
Yeah, he's great. I honestly think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Like, and he's got a full range. Like, I really loved him in the second Blade Runner movie.
Yes.
Just like the sadness that he portrays, and like that misery and stuff that you could, see it just like oozing off of him,
Yeah,
and just totally vibing with that, So
definitely.
he's a great actor. I think he's like one of the best actually out there right
Hmm.
now.
Yeah, and then you compare that to um, Ken in the Barbie movie, and it's just
Yeah.
so
Or
different.
did he was just in that new movie too, where he plays like a stunt guy. He was really good
Hmm.
in that too.
Oh,
I liked him
I
in
have not
I
watched that
forgot the name
one.
of the movie, but it's pretty good. He's really funny in that too.
Yeah, he's definitely one where I'm like, if he's in it, it's more likely that I will watch it.
Yeah, totally.
Do you have a comfort horror movie?
Probably The Thane, honestly. Like, as The Thane is like a movie that, like, no matter what I'm doing, if it's on, like, I'll just stop and watch it.
Yeah, I get it.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Hmm.
It's just, I don't know, like, I love like the feeling of isolation and dread that movie conveys, and like the music, like, is something I try to replicate. Is in my music is like everything that John Carpenter does with his music.
Hmm.
Uh, So it's just, I don't know. It's just like the perfect movie to me. It's just so much going on in that's just like totally draws me in every time it's on. I just can't help myself but sit there and watch it.
Yeah, it's a very intense also.
Yeah, yeah. And
All
I love
right.
that. I love how he left the ending open too, so that like there's so much interpretation to go.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like that too. I like open endings in any kind of game. I like when a movie makes me think about it for longer than just when the
yeah, yeah.
credits roll.
I mean, it's definitely cool to have movies wrap things up sometimes as far as its themes and its storytelling. But
Hmm.
I also really like it when there's a lot of stuff to be left to the imagination, so you can kind of like fill in the gaps with your own logic or reasoning or storytelling. So you can kind of like it just feels more personal to me when you have something like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
You don't know everything, so you're sitting there guessing and trying to figure things out afterwards.
Mm. So, the most of the questions that I have here in looking ahead, we already talked about, like, what are you doing in the near future? What kind of games do you want to make in the future? Um, but are you taking some rest now? Like, or do you, when you make this game for your friend yet now, will you still treat it as like the 9 to 5 job, or will you take a little bit more rest in that case?
Yeah, I'm definitely taking a little bit of a break before we start that project, and I have like a little vacation planned next week.
That's
But
good.
I think with this upcoming project, it definitely won't be like hyper focused project like Flesh Made Fear was, because we had a very specific development cycle, and the game, it was a lot of work and it was very intense for that development cycle, um, to get it all done within that time period. But with this one, it's pretty open ended. There's no like set schedule or anything like that, so it's not something that I need to like hyper focus on and make sure that I need to have done by a specific time or something like that. So it's
Hmm.
something I can approach more casually.
Yeah, that's good. So, where can people find you if they want to check out your games or your socials?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Steam. Tainted Pact Games on Steam. You can find all my games on there. I'm on itch.io. Tainted Pact Games on there as well. I have Twitter. I have Blue Sky. I have Instagram. All is Tainted Pact Games. You can find me on all that stuff as well. Um, YouTube as well. You can Google any one of my games. They'll pop up with all kinds of different stuff related to any one of the titles. You just type it in and you'll find it. Um, but
Or
yeah,
you look into the show notes where I will likely link all of that.
yeah, totally, totally.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. That was great.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Sumi. It was
I,
very nice chatting with you.
yeah, I hope you have a wonderful uh, couple of months now, and your vacation will be great. And then I'm looking forward to seeing whatever games you are making next.
Thank you. And I look forward to listening to the podcast, and I wish you nothing but success going forward with it.
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening to CEOs of Screams, the podcast. If you want to stay up to date with Michael and all the games that he creates, please make sure to follow him on all his socials linked in the show notes. Also make sure to follow CEOs of Screams on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and Twitch. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also make sure to rate us on the podcast platform of your choice. That helps us with our visibility. This show was produced and edited by me, Sumi, and the witch cackle you can hear in the beginning and the end of the episode is done by Liv Zombie.